What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Majespecter deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck was actually suggested to me by one of my patrons, Zak. And this deck is an extremely powerful deck that can establish some insane boards. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. And definitely give Zak some love down in the comments down below for suggesting such an awesome deck. So let's get straight on into this one, guys. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Banbuku. This card is definitely a 3-out in the build and such a powerful card because this card is the Stratos of the deck. Then when this card is normally special summoned, you can actually add a Majespecter monster from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect to help you grab the exact card that you need. And all of your Majespecter monsters actually share a common effect that they cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects, which is awesome. We then play 3 copies of Porcupine. Porcupine is a great extender in the build and such a powerful card to play in this build, as this card has the ability that during the main phase, if you control a Majespecter monster, quick effect, you can actually special summon this card from the hand. And if it's a normal or special summon, you can turn a Majespecter spell in the graveyard and set it to your side of the field, which is great to be able to work with our copy of Majespecter Wind. We then play 3 copies of Yada. Yada is great as a summon in this deck as well, because when this card is normally a special summon, you can actually add a Majespecter spell from your deck to your hand. We then play a single copy of Cat. Cat is a really good 1-up in the build because when this card is normally a special summon, you can actually add a Majespecter card from your deck to your hand during the end phase of the turn, which is great to grab follow-up for the following turn, like a copy of Banbuku. We then play a single copy of Toad. Toad is great as a 1-up in the build because this card has a great effect that when this card is normally special summon, you can actually set a Majespecter spell or trap directly from your deck, which is a great ability to set the exact card that you need. We play a single copy of Fox. Fox is great as a 1-up as well because when this card is normally special summon, you can actually add a Majespecter trap from your deck to your hand, which is great to be able to work with a copy of Tempest or Tornado. We then play a single copy of Majespecter Unicorn. Unicorn is insane, and this card is so cool to be able to play in the deck because it's just a really good bounce. It has the ability during either player's turn, you can actually target a pendulum monster in your monster zone and a monster your opponent controls and return them back to the hand, which is a great ability to help you bounce your opponent's cards off the field. We then play 3 copies of Majesty Pegasus. Majesty Pegasus is definitely a 3-up in the build because this card actually helps us search our field spells from our deck to our hand, and then we discard a card, and also this card is an insane ability that this card is always treated as a Majespecter card, making this card an awesome card in this deck. We then play a single copy of Power Load. Power Load is great as a 1-up in the build because of its pendulum effect that you can actually target one Draco Slayer card in your other pendulum zone and then special summon it, making it so you can actually summon out your copy of Majesty Pegasus, so Majesty Pegasus will go off to help us search out a field spell directly from our deck to our hand, which is such a powerful ability. Plus this card is a scale 6, making it super easy to pendulum summon just about anything that you need. We may see a copy of Luster Pendulum. Luster Pendulum is a great combo piece in the deck to help us go over all sorts of different monsters out of our extra deck. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom's awesome in the deck to basically just stop your opponent from touching the deck. We then play 3 copies of Droll. Droll is really good as a 3-up to basically just stop your opponent from touching the deck for the rest of the turn. We then play 3 copies of Mulcharmy Fluros. Fluros is really good as a 3-up in the build, and for a more budget option, you could play something like a copy of Effect Veiler, but this card is awesome in the deck to be able to use because this card helps us dig in the deck for the exact cards that we need, and it's just a really good hand trap to make your opponent stop playing. But this card is also great in the build as it is a level 4 wind monster, so we can pendulum summon this card out to our side of the field and use it as an extender if we don't get the opportunity to use it as a hand trap. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is really good as a 1-up in the build to basically just stop your opponent from hand trapping you where you're going in for all of your plays. And then my single copy of Triple Tactics Talent. Triple Tactics Talent is really good in this deck to let us draw 2 cards, take control of an opponent's monster, or look at our opponent's hand, and choose a card from it and shuffle it into the deck. This card is awesome in the build, and just basically deals your opponent if your opponent does decide to hand trap you. We then play a single copy of Pot of Prosperity. Pot of Prosperity is great to help us dig into the deck for the exact cards that we need. We then play a single copy of Majesty's Pegasus. Majesty's Pegasus is great in this build because this card actually gives our Majespecters a little bit of a boost, giving them 300 attack and defense points. And you can also attribute a Wind Spellcaster monster to special summon a level 4 or lower Majespecter monster from the deck, helping you bring out the exact card that you need. We then play a single copy of Secret Village. Secret Village is insane in this build because all of our Majespecter monsters are actually spellcasters, so this card essentially locks down your opponent, which is actually insane. That if you control a spellcaster monster, your opponent cannot activate spell cards, and if you don't control a spellcaster, you cannot activate the effects of spells. But it's very easy in this deck to control a spellcaster, as all of our Majespecter monsters are spellcasters, and we usually want to end on a spellcaster in this deck, plus our copy of Secret Village, so our opponent cannot activate spells. We then played 3 copies of Majespecter Wind. Majespecter Wind is actually insane because this card is basically E-Telly for the deck. With the ability, when this card is activated, you can actually tribute a Wind monster that is a spellcaster, and then you get to special summon a Majespecter monster from your hand or graveyard. Or, if you did tribute a monster when this card was activated, you can special summon a Majespecter monster directly from your deck, helping you bring out your copy of Majespecter Unicorn to your side of the field, which is awesome. But this card is definitely a 3 of in the build. So, that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start with a single copy of Tornado. Tornado is great as a 1-of in the build because this card is just an awesome card that lets you tribute a Wind Spellcaster monster, target 1 monster that your opponent controls, and banish it. We then play a single copy of Tempest. Tempest is really good as a 1-of in the build as well because this card has the effect that when a monster would be special summoned or a monster effect is activated, you can actually attribute a Wind Spellcaster monster and negate the summon or the activation, and if you do, destroy that card, which is an awesome ability to be able to use. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is great as a 3-of in the build just to basically stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. So, that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with a Majespecter Draco. This card is really good as a 2-of in the build and just such a powerful card, as this card is an insane effect that if you can Pendulum Summon for 4, you can actually Pendulum Summon this face-up card from your extra deck. And if a monster is tributed while this card is on the field, you can actually detach a material on this card to special summon a level 6 or lower Wind Spellcaster monster from your deck, which is a great ability to bring out the exact card that you need. Then I see a copy of Magister Paladin. This card is really good as a 1-of in the build because it has an insane ability. When this card is XZ summon, you can actually add a Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand during the end phase of this turn, which is a pretty cool ability to be able to use. And also once per turn, you can detach a material from this card to special summon 1 face-up Draco Slayer Pendulum monster from your extra deck, but it cannot be used as an XZ material, which is totally fine for this card. I'm going to a single copy of Lightning Chidori. Lightning Chidori is great because when this card is XZ summoned, you can actually target a set card that your opponent controls and return that target to the bottom of the deck. And once per turn, you can detach a material from this card to be able to target a face-up card that your opponent controls and actually return that target to the top of the deck, which is a pretty cool effect to help you bounce cards off the field. And then I see a copy of number 75, Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. So this card is really good to be able to make first because this card has the ability that once per turn, when your opponent's monster activates its effect, quick effect, you can actually detach 2 materials on this card to negate the effect, and it becomes, or it actually doesn't negate it, just changes the effect to make it so both players draw a card, which is pretty interesting that it doesn't just negate it, it just actually changes the effect, almost like a Phantom of Yubel effect, to basically just change the effect to make it so both players draw a card, which is so cool. It actually helps you play around a lot of different cards, and it's just a really cool card in this deck. We then play a single copy of Ignister. Ignister is great as a one-of in the build because once per turn you can actually target a pendulum monster on the field or one card in the pendulum zone and destroy it. You do shuffle one card in the field into the deck, which is a non-targeting effect, which is actually insane to be able to do. We then play a single copy of Dynastor Power. Dynastor Power is just really good as a one-of in the build and such a powerful card in this deck. And then a single copy of Access Code. Access Code is great to help you pop multiple cards on the field, plus it comes out absolutely massive. We then play a single copy of Exceed the Pendulum. Exceed the Pendulum is really good as a one-of for its link arrows, and it's just an awesome combo piece in the deck because this card has some really cool effects. If this card is link summon, you can actually add a face-up Pendulum monster from your extract to your hand, and during the main phase, quick effect, you can actually special summon a Pendulum monster from your hand to the graveyard into defense position with the same levels, or that has level between the Pendulum scales that you can actually summon, which is really cool to be able to do to help you bring out a monster to your side of the field. And like a single copy of Selene. Selene is great as a one-of build to basically help you link climb to your copy of Access Code, so you can basically just pop multiple cards on the field and go in for game. We made a single copy of SP. SP is great to be able to use as a double interruption. We then play 2 copies of New. New is actually insane. This card is one of the first cards you're going to summon out of your extract, because if this card is a link summon, you can add it to 2 face-up Majespecter Pendulum monsters from your extract to your hand. Then you can add 2 Majespecter Pendulum monsters with different names from your deck to your extract face-up, helping you get monsters into your hand while also getting the exact cards that you need for your Pendulum scales. We then play a single copy of Beyond the Pendulum. Beyond the Pendulum is great as a one-of in the build to help you search out the exact Pendulum monsters that you need. It can also help you pop cards on the field. We then finally play a single copy of IP. IP is great as a one-of in the build because this card can help you go in for SP during the opponent's turn, which is actually insane to be able to do, and it's just a really good one-of in the deck. So, that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played a Majespecter deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's so fun to be able to play, and it's insane how powerful the boards you can actually make with this deck. So, that's going to do this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.